Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday Night Fan Forum. This is United Stan. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got plenty to talk about, as always, with Manchester United. Ronaldo staying, really? Even if we don't make Europe, I say Europe, we can't even say Champions League right now. It's that uncertain. But there's plenty of other stuff going on. England squad, United players not there, the management situation, and that debate continues on and on and on. But let me introduce my guest first of all. And obviously, you may have noticed top screen next to me making her debut on United Stand Live tonight. You may have recognised her from some of the fan vlogs from outside Old Trafford. Holly, joining us tonight for the first time. How are you doing, Holly? Welcome to the United Stand. Welcome to the live show.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to get involved tonight and been watching the channel. Big fan for a long time now, so I'm really excited to get involved.
Yep, you've had plenty of comments on your fan vlogs. Some of your opinions have gone down. Storm, say it as it is. We like that on United Stand, don't we, Kev, mate? How are you doing, pal?
We sure do, mate. Good to be on. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone who's making the most of it.
Mate, yeah.
And third night in a row I've been on. Can't believe it, man. Everyone must be sick of the sight of Kev, but I'll give it my best shot as always. We go again.
We go again. Always. Yeah. Winning team and all that. Oh, Jordan's got the winning top on tonight. Loving the zebra shot, mate. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, all good. Thursday night. Absolutely loving life on the Thursday show. As always, welcome, Holly. Shout out to Jay on Paddy's Day and Ryan. Hope you guys are having a good day. Let's go.
That's it. Hopefully Jay's somewhere not getting too intoxicated and just enjoying life. I'm sure he is. Good excuse to drown some sorrows this week. We've got plenty to talk about. Quickly, Holly, I'm just going to come to you first. First time on the show, obviously. United situation right now. Quickly, just tell me your mood and feeling right now after going out the Champions League. I know it was inevitability at some point, but we just hope for a little bit more of a run. Didn't get it. The mood in the fan base, you've been there plenty of times this season. You felt it. Where are you at right now? Does it feel like the season is over in terms of what we can achieve for you now before we move on?
Yeah, it's as tough as it has been to be a United fan at the moment. It's just where do we get any joy from at the moment? Like we look forward to Tuesday night football, and they go out and they do that to us. And to be fair, I think I was in the minority, but I was hopeful of us getting through the Champions League. I know like I said, I might be in the minority, but with players like Ronaldo and stuff, you do dare to dream. It's the saying, dare to dream, and I did dare to dream, not to win it, obviously, but I did dare to dream to get further than we did. And we haven't even got Europa League football to save us now. We got one step further than we did last season, and it's nothing to look forward to now as fans, and it is devastating, really.
No, it is. It feels it, and we've all had our say in it this week, fellas, as well. But Kev, I mean, the one shining light half a shining light this season. When Ronaldo came, we was all excited. I remember doing the shows with yourself. We thought he was going over the other side of Manchester. Then he came to United, the big buzz. Everyone was excited, and now we're looking at it going, oh, why would he even stay? Why would he stay past this season? But the rumours tonight, mate, are that Ronaldo may actually stay and honour his contract with Manchester United and stay on even if we don't get into the Champions League. I'll mention Champions League. I know I was being mean before by saying we might not even be in Europe, but we've said it before. We've had our opinions on it. Do you actually believe this, Kev, first of all? And is it a good thing going forward with the amount of planning and restructuring that is going to be needed when the summer comes around, mate?
If Manchester United don't make the Champions League, or worst case scenario, don't even make the Europa League, I just don't see Cristiano Ronaldo sticking around at Manchester United, and I would hold nothing against him. At the same time, if he does decide to stay a year on, I would just have to put it down to and look at it and go, this kid, this lad, this man must very much love Manchester United, because there is no other reason for it. I understand he has 1 year left on his contract, but he could move elsewhere. He doesn't have time on his hands. Now, when he come to United at the start of the season, I'm sure he didn't expect to be, as it was the other night, the 15th of March, and pretty much it seems like Manchester United season's over. Yes, we're trying to get into the Champions League top 4, but that's not what Manchester United's about. So I think I would be surprised if he stuck around. I think heavily surprised, I'd go as far as to say.
Yeah, I mean, if you notice, Holly had gone there a second. Hopefully, Holly's internet kicks back into gear, and it isn't such a short-lived debut. But Jordan, on Ronaldo, mate, he's believed he's talking the talk. He is confident that this football club can make the right decisions come the summer. Investment manager coming in, he's confident. And I don't know if he's come out and said this himself, but he's confident that the club will make the right decisions and will put us back on the map. I mean, it pains me to say that because I don't believe it, Jordan, mate. But on Ronaldo himself, I'm surprised, mate. I'd be very surprised if he did, Jordan. I mean, I'm in that category of thinking that Ronaldo really won't want to end his career because it is coming to an end now with such a downbeat way with a team that is failing. And it's a long way off from succeeding again, mate. Does that at least show a little bit of character of the character of the man if he did stay now?
Yeah, I think the level of player he's been, he deserves to end his career in a better way. I personally don't think he'll stay if we don't qualify for the Champions League. But I also think that this is him sort of putting that out there to not cause a hindrance to the focus of the team driving towards the top 4. He knows there's a lot of talk about, is he going to stay? Is he not going to stay? And I think the inevitable will happen in the summer. But, if people around him are putting that out there to make it go away and then they deal with it in the summer, so all the focus is on trying to finish in the top 4, then I think that's a good thing. And that's a testament to the type of person that he is and the love that he has for the club. There's some other players out there that allow their agents and stuff to put negativity out around the club, which distracts the players from what the target is, which at the moment is to get into the top 4. So yeah, I mean, I think when he signed with the full intention to see out the full contract. I don't think he wanted to only stay for 12 months and then move on. I think if that was the case, he wouldn't have come back to begin with. But if we don't, I feel like he still can play at the highest level. He's showing that he can play at the highest level. You look at the goals he scored in the group stages. He still do it. He deserves to be in the Champions League. Maybe not play week in, week out in the domestic league, but for the Champions League games, he's always up for it. So yeah, I think he will move on if we don't get into the top competition.
I think there's some people that are saying Ronaldo's a bad influence and this and that, and I certainly don't subscribe to that theory. I don't know whether you're touching on that before, Adam, when you asked me about Ronaldo. If he stays another year, there'll be people saying, what does that mean for the other players in the group, the younger kind of players? I think we all agreed when Ronaldo signed that he was going to be a fantastic influence on this Manchester United team. The worrying thing has been, and it was a fantastic point you raised last night as well, Adam, on the younger generation. It does seem to be kind of missed on them, where maybe at the start they were putting out the social media shit and saying, it's great to have Ronaldo here, we all look up to him, he's won the lot. And then that sort of fizzled out then. And we heard of these little rumblings in the camp that, and it does look that way, doesn't it? We've heard, I won't mention names, but obviously we've heard through the media these cliques, and some of them feel a bit intimidated by Ronaldo and that. Now, the one thing we're missing at United is leaders. And we know we're going to lose a lot of players at the end of this season. One of them could be Ronaldo. But if he does stay on and we bring him through youth players, we're going to be signing new players. Certainly for the development of players like Elanga, Ronaldo can only be a good thing. I think it's great to have a leader, somebody who's been there and done it, and somebody to look up to, because even at the age of 37, look at, for Christ's sake, the way that he looks after himself. He's unbelievable and an absolute, just a brilliant role model for any young footballer. Any young footballer that's got his head screwed on, isn't pissing around with the J-Lings, clove brand and all, he doesn't need to do that. Ronaldo's been there, he's done it, and you can learn so much from him.
That's it. I mean, just for anyone who is joining us slightly late, what are you doing? Not being on time in the first place. Come on, 8 o'clock, people. Holly is the newest member of our team, making her debut on United Stand, everybody. So do say hello in the comments, give your best wishes. Holly, I'm going to extend that question to you in terms of Ronaldo, but twist it a little bit in terms of we're obviously in the know that, yeah, we are all in the know because United have made it so that we're going for a new manager in the summer. With Ronaldo staying, do you feel like that may put pressure on that new man coming in the summer with Ronaldo being there? And if it is only one more year, the manager really needs to kick on straight away with the way the fan base is. You've seen it firsthand, Holly. There's no patience within the fan base now. But do you feel like it's going to be a tougher job with Ronaldo in there, with the new manager coming in with his new ideas, knowing that he's only going to be there a year? Or, like Kev just said then, that leader on the pitch, that voice of the manager out there, can he help the new manager, or is it going to be a hindrance, do you reckon?
Well, I mean, Ronaldo is Ronaldo for a reason, puts pressure on every situation. Regardless of whether he's meaning to or not, he does. He's incredibly, like, when we first signed Ronaldo, I did think Ronaldo would be the death of Oli and pressure of the situation. It did end up going that way as well. But I think any manager that comes into Man United will have to know what Ronaldo's like plans are kind of first. I need to see where Ronaldo's head is at first, because whether we like it or whether Ronaldo likes it or whether the club likes it or not, Ronaldo is going to be the first in a new plan. So the new manager is going to come in and he's going to have to plan around Ronaldo, or it's like the club is going to have to as well. Whether that will influence their decision on a manager, I'm not sure. But the manager will certainly have to take into consideration whether Ronaldo is staying or going and how he's going to plan around Ronaldo, because he is Cristiano Ronaldo and you can't leave him out, and you do have to get him into the team somehow. And he's made his name now to this day himself by being as persistent as he has been. And the question of whether he will stay or not, regardless of whether he said to us that he's going to stay and he's going to win us trophies again and make United successful again. I think that is one of the big reasons why he will stay, is because his character is strong like that. His character is, we won't give up. And I don't think he will give up this season with United. And I think he would have known before he came in that we're not going to win it. He might like to think we'd win something this season, but the chances of us winning something this season, if you looked at United closely for the last few years, was slim, to be fair, because we don't look like we'd win anything. But I can't see him thinking that he'd come in and win the Champions League straight away or win the league straight away. So part of me thinks it was to do with his plan at the beginning, and he just wants to help guide us that way. As fans, what more we want, really.
That's it. I mean, I was thinking, and I've still believed that Ronaldo wouldn't want to be around. I think he wants to be in the Champions League, like you said, Jordan, mate. If he does stay, Jordan, does he stay and is the first name on the team sheet like he is now? Because that's a tough one for a new manager, isn't it?
Yeah, just on Holly's point there, I think from the outside looking in for Ronaldo, he would have looked at it last season, seen how we finished second, and now we were signing Cavani, Varane, Sancho, and him coming. I probably thought that would be enough for them to go on to try and actually challenge for the league and win the league. But I feel like he's got to the club and now actually realised that we're in a whole world of trouble and pain. So yeah, that probably has shocked him. I think whatever manager comes in needs to be a big enough personality to be able to manage somebody with the ego and the stature of Ronaldo and say to him, sorry, Ronaldo, you have to rest. You can't play every single game. You can't play 3 games in a week. It needs somebody big enough to do that. And Oli wasn't big enough to do that. I don't think Ragnick is big enough to do that. It needs somebody that comes in and it can make that and be willing to upset him at times, but play him in the right games. And I'm sure, as long as the team are winning and we are moving towards winning silverware, ultimately he wants to be a part of that at this stage of his career. The big games, yeah, he's going to want to play, but does he need to be playing against your Watfords, your Leeds, and people like that? No, the squad should be strong enough, and there should be enough depth in the squad that we win those games without having to rely on a Ronaldo. So a new manager coming in strengthens the squad and plays Ronaldo when he needs to be played.
Yeah, I mean, Kev, we discussed it on last night's show in terms of what United's targets are in terms like position wise, where we need strengthening in our first team, where we need strengthening on that pitch. If Ronaldo stays, does that change the target of that number 9 that we really need? Because that number 9 then isn't going to be the marquee because Ronaldo will play. And does that affect who we actually go for in terms of that number 9 now? If Ronaldo's staying, do we promote a McNeil, for instance, let him integrate for a season, get a bit of experience, or do we still need to go and buy? Will the club be thinking like this as well? I mean, save us a bit of money if we keep Ronaldo, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I can see it affecting different aspects of our planning going forward, Kev.
Well, it's a great point, that, because Manchester United will look at it and probably think, well, if we get another season out of Ronaldo, and it doesn't come cheap, you know, he's not playing for free or anything. He's on top dollar at Manchester United, but also, and it's the big word, isn't it? Commercially, what he earns Manchester United is mega to them, and they would love nothing more to get another year out of Cristiano Ronaldo. All the sponsorship deals, just his face plastered over everything. Whatever it is United sell, Ronaldo will always be pushed to the forefront because he's the face. He's one of the most recognizable, you know, footballers or world stars on the planet. So Manchester United have certainly rinsed that since Ronaldo come, but we could expect that. It could possibly be for the best for Manchester United as a club and for Ronaldo if he did leave at the end of the season. As harsh as it is, I would love another year out of him, but the fear is he's going to be turning 38. I think we already know now that he can't play every single week. And a change up front, the dynamics of, and it depends who you're bringing in, would totally change at Manchester United. And the drum that I've always kind of beaten, I've always said I prefer Cavani's all-round style of play, hold-up play. He brings people into the game. Go back to the days of Ruud van Nistelrooy, players like that, maybe even a Harry Kane, somebody that's got the all-round game, whereas Ronaldo will still score goals, no doubt about it, but I think a player, a prime Cavani or something, even a prime Tevez, brings something totally different to your team. Them moments, them games when you come under the cosh, let's say away at Atletico Madrid, where you know you're going to come under moments or 10, 15 minutes of pressure. Sometimes you just need a striker to hold the ball up, get a foul, and just move everybody up the pitch. I don't feel Ronaldo kind of does that, but don't get me wrong, I'm certainly not sagging him off. I'm just saying, if there was a part in other ways this summer and United they go into the transfer market and replace him with somebody that's the next big thing or the next up-and-coming thing, it could be a game changer for Manchester United as an attacking force.
Yeah, I mean, Holla, in terms of Ronaldo being the number 9, like I said to Kev then, does that change our sort of options of where we're looking to improve and strengthen in the summer? Do we buy a number 9 to play there? Because Ronaldo's position where we've seen him play better over the last couple of weeks has been more of a free role. Could the club actually look into the fact that Ronaldo could probably fill in one of the wider positions and then integrate into that and still get a number 9 to hold the ball up and link with Ronaldo? There is a way that Ronaldo can be played. But like Jordan said, then if he is playing this free role, I can see him working more. And then he cannot play 2 or 3 games a week. I think that would be impossible for him to do well the way he's playing right now. But first of all, on that new position, Holla, because we've been there many times this season and watched it at Old Trafford where he's done the graveyard shift as a number 9. It's not worked. It's been easy to play against. Last couple of games have been a lot better, especially against Spurs. Can we buy someone in that can work with Ronaldo for one more season and then move on from there for you?
I think so. I think he has to drop deep in order to get involved because we're not we're not the attacking team that we once were. So he has no other option but to come back and get involved, as we've been seeing in the last few games. And then you kind of get him and Bruno both sitting on the attacking line, and that works as well as you'd hope. But I'm not sure. It's a difficult one because it's like the wingers should come into more, like Ronaldo, be pulled back into the team more to try and get more of the ball. But then we leave it obviously vacant up front. Whereas I think Bruno's been trying to step into that position, but Bruno has been struggling to obviously finish the chances off and stuff like that. So I think we do need someone, but looking in from the outside, it's so difficult to try and put someone in with Ronaldo as well, because let's be serious, Ronaldo, as much as we all love him, doesn't fit the way that we play at the moment, and he doesn't fit the way teams set up against us. And they are setting up against Ronaldo knowing what to do at the moment, because obviously we don't have the midfield to get from back to forwards like any other Man City or Liverpool do. So we have to try and get the ball to Ronaldo somehow, and he doesn't have the mix to kind of run in behind. So we are struggling at the moment with that sense, and I think we do need more of a quick attacker that can run on the break and get in behind defenders. But I'm not sure how we kind of get that around Ronaldo. I can't see him being a false nine where he comes in to get the ball all the time, because I don't think that's the way Ronaldo wants to play.
No, that's it. And Jordan, Holly said there, in terms of the way United play, I'm not sure how United play at the moment, but the new manager, when he comes in, mate, he's going to have a style of play. And this is where we're going next. We're going to move into the new manager. I mean, it's reported. I don't even know why I'm even saying that. We all know it's going to happen. But United are apparently speeding up the process now. This process that really should have been already underway. And may well be, Jordan. But give him a little bit of credit. They may not be giving much away. They may be doing something behind the scenes. We'll give him a little bit of no, we won't actually. Why have we not got this sorted already, Jordan? It should be in place. But Ten Hag is the favourite. There's a bit of a divide, apparently, between the hierarchy at United, between Pochettino and Ten Hag. I don't know what the debate is, mate. I really don't. Except for me, in my opinion, that Pochettino suits the board more than he suits the club. And some may be looking at Ten Hag being the answer for the football side of things. I don't know where the debate is, Jordan. Can you figure out where the debate would be? Because from the outside, I think everyone would look at it and go, it's not Pochettino. I think we've all said that on here, mate, as well. Not disrespecting Pochettino, I'll say that again, but Ten Hag is the one who is developing squads at the moment and teams in a consistent basis. Very similar to how Pep, Klopp, how Sir Alex used to do it, mate. I don't see a debate in it, but can you change my mind? Is there anything for Poch there for you? And why is this not already in place, mate? Do you expect it in the next few weeks, maybe?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I've got to give a shout out to Holly's internet, because everyone in the comments is asking, is she on the same internet provider as Beth? Which is just brilliant. So big up Holly's internet. Yeah, they're saying they're going to speed up. But look, guys, it's basically April, which means the season's finishing in a few more weeks. Like, what are they waiting for? If they don't know now, when are they ever going to know? I think that the decision, I think, might have already been made about Poch, which is now they're now internally trying to backpedal and see if Ten Hag is the other option. But I just think the deal's already done, guys. I think I've said previously, we've been linked to him so many times in the past, but the stars didn't ever quite align that we couldn't get him. Sir Alex has come out and trophied him and said that also, you know, he's got a lot of respect for him. I think the job he did at Southampton and the budget he worked within at Spurs, I know the wheels came off at Spurs after the Champions League final, but a lot of Spurs fans say that he was never given the back-in, and if he was given the money and bail that Mourinho was given afterwards, they would have been happy to see what Poch could have gone on and done. But I think from there, you know, what's happened at PSG and the fact they've gone out the way they've gone out this season, I just think the writing's on the wall. I think they're 15 points clear, you know, at the top of the league, so that he's going to win the league, but that's not enough for PSG. They are going to move him on. And I just think that he is going to be happy to get the United job. He's not going to argue with the owners. He's not going to demand, you know, certain transfer budgets or whatnot. He's going to be happy to be there, and he's going to be another yes man. And that is what the Glazers want. When I feel like with Ten Hag coming in, if that happens, I would be shocked, because I feel like for Ten Hag to do what Ten Hag does, it will require radical changes. That doesn't necessarily mean going out and spending bag loads of money but it means investing in a different kind of way, something that the board is not used to. It's also going to mean that he's going to want control over certain things. So I think that is why there's an internal battle of, yes, we want change, but we don't want too much change. And ultimately, that is what that's where the board's at. They want change, they just don't want too much change.
Yeah, I mean, Samuel Luckhurst is talking in the MEN. Kev, I know you're a big admirer of Ten Hag, and he is your choice. And when you look at it and he goes and look at the teams that he's assembled, either side of selling big players like Matthias de Ligt, 2017, Frankie de Jong, 2019, and coming back and building again, that's very sort of, for me, Sir Alex-esque style thing. It doesn't matter how big the player is, and they were the two biggest in that country, internationally as well. They were their superstars. Gone, went back, developed again. And it's like the players that he has took there that you wouldn't expect even as well. So they developed from within. Obviously, we've seen Donny come through and these players like de Ligt and de Jong come through. But he's taking Tadic back there, turned him into a player. Who was it? Haller from West Ham. And he's built teams and made them still this competitive and strong with losing these players, bringing players, finding them gems and making them work in a system, Kev, mate. So I can see where a lot of people like yourself are bigging up Ten Hag. And when you break that down, mate, does the argument sort of sway closer and closer to Ten Hag and make you think, what is the debate even more?
It's one of the interesting things about Ten Hag, and you kind of stole exactly what I was going to say. That's what I had in my head. It is the fact that he is able to reassemble a team after losing his top stars. I think he's even gone on record as saying, his next job, he'd love to be in a job where he can keep these players, develop them, stay with a team. But and we know Ajax, even down the year, you go back to the 90s, the great Ajax team, where they had Kluivert, Davids, Seedorf. They lost one summer about 6 or 7 top draw players, and they've continued to do that. Now, one thing somebody picked me up on in the comment section the other week, and I said about Ten Hag, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, but Kev, Ajax have this academy and structure," and fair enough, I get that. That has been there for years. But I would also throw and say, well, up until sort of Pep Guardiola come to Manchester City, what was the City way? That he has installed the Cruyff Barcelona style of football into Manchester City. It's crazy, but he's done that at Manchester City. And now this club that we used to laugh at across the town, and Blue Nose Knobheads, you know what I mean? You look at them now and they've got this style of play, the City way. The City way growing up for me was just laughing at them because they were a laughing stock, an embarrassment. Whereas now the City way is, you could argue that they're probably the best team in world football at the minute. They're absolutely brilliant to watch. It's hard to take being a United fan, but that's where Ten Hag comes in at Manchester United. Why can't he restructure? Look at the academy, say, right, I want our teams all the way through the academies playing this style of football. And we know it's going to take time, but wouldn't it be great? Pep Guardiola didn't win the league first time around at Manchester City. It took him a few years to get the players he wanted into his system and that. I'm prepared to wait now. We've just had 3 years of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't think we're any farther on as Manchester United, as a club. Any development of players coming through and that. So why not? Why can't Ten Hag come to Manchester United, overlook everything, the academy, have a total rethink about the way that the youth set up, all them teams play football, and why not bring that Ajax brand to Manchester United? Because Pep Guardiola has done the exact same thing at Manchester City.
Do you know what, guys? Just on that, I think of it in a different way. If Ten Hag goes to a rival Premier League club, I would be concerned. If Poch goes to a rival Premier League club, I'm not going to be bothered. Mm. Mm-hmm. And that says it all. That says it all where we're all at.
That speaks. And like you said then, Kev, with Pep Guardiola, with Klopp, they took their teams, they took their structure along with them for the ride. Now that could be the stumbling block, and where all this negotiation with United really falls down in the end, because you look at it and you go, for United to let people in upstairs, it's a big thing. We know it's a big thing because we employ from within. And I think this is probably why the likes of Pep and Klopp looked at the situation at United, because they both had a look. We know that. And for them not to come to United says a lot. Yeah, it may have been bad timing, but really, I do believe that them wanting to bring their teams in and put their sort of directors in wherever it's football, their scout, because Pep has got a massive team with him, and he always says it. It's not about me, it's about my team. And he bases everything around his team that comes with. I can't see that happening at United, Kev. And I think that's, like you said then, Pep took a while to get it going, but he brought a lot with him. And eventually there was that many of them going in the same direction. It had to get across. The message had to come across, mate.
And that is the legacy that he will leave at Manchester City. And the next manager that comes in will be expected to implement that same style of football. That will be known as the City way. That's exactly how it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester City, the way that club's run, they're very well run, as much as it pains me to say it again. But I wouldn't be surprised if they've already touched base with a Ten Hag and said, what's the crack? Are you staying at Ajax another season? Trying to work it? You know, they probably sounded him out. Wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool have as well, to be honest.
Holly,
we can't miss out.
Who would you prefer? Hull.
Yeah, Holly, I'm going to bring you in on that, actually. Now, you've not spoke to me about managers before at all, but this is your moment now. Is there anyone else, apart from Ten Hag and Pochettino, you might think come in, or are you in one of the Hag or Poch boats?
All I want as a fan is just to have a plan. Because at the moment we see United come out every week. Nobody has a plan. Nobody has a clue what they're doing. I would be happy at the moment. We've gone nearly 10 years without a trophy now at the moment. I would be happy I'd be happier for Ten Hag to come in and to know that United have a plan. And it's not just to get through to the end of the season. I'm happy for us not to win a trophy next year or the year after, as long as I know we're building towards something. Because at the moment, it's just we're a lost cause at the moment. We don't know every week we don't know what way we're going out to play or anything. I just want us to build a formation of how we're going to attack teams, how we're going to get past the low block, because we can't seem to just figure that out for the lives of us. But I would, if you said to me, either next year we carry on with Pochettino and we might win the odd FA Cup, or we might get a sneaky run to the semi-finals of the Champions League, I'm not interested. I don't want that anymore. That's not what I think United need. We need to go completely from the beginning. Start with someone like Ten Hag, where we know it's going to take a while. We know the process isn't going to be quick. But like Liverpool, if you see the team that Jurgen Klopp went to Liverpool with, I think there's one or two players that start for them now. Jordan Henderson and even Firmino's starting to get. He's more of a bench player at the moment, but that's what I want for United, is just for someone to come in, completely clear out what we don't use at the moment, get their own players in that is going to suit their system, get rid of the ones that won't. We need to stop going for these multi-million-pound players that are just big signings, like the likes of Haaland and Declan Rice, that we know aren't going to fit the way that we want to play. But I'd rather get 5 or 6 squad players that are all going to work towards something that we can all build on as fans and as a football team together. Because at the moment, I've never felt so disconnected from a group of players in my life. Like, you see these videos of Rashford and you're like, I feel like we're enemies at the moment. I feel like they're the team. They have their back up against us. We're mad at them because they don't really care at the moment. But we need to all go towards this one direction, the same, all together. And at the moment, we're just on completely different paths. So that's the reason I prefer someone like Ten Hag, who you know is going to come in. He's going to have a plan with the youth. He's going to have a plan with what kind of team he wants to build and how he builds it. And we'll just go from there.
That's it. I mean, Holly, are you concerned now that the managerial situation isn't sorted? And you look at it and you go, the last thing you want as a United fan is this board buying the players. The manager not being in place or is not knowing can only slow down the process of bringing in the players that we need right now, Holly. Does that concern you? Because any signings that are being muted right now, I'm thinking, well, they're not Ralph's. They're not the new managers because there's no one here yet. And the concern starts to creep in that, like you said then, you could start getting the marquee players come in, and the manager really is not going to have a choice when he actually finally does arrive. So the importance, for one, of getting the manager in and knowing who's coming in now is key, because we need to start building the squad back up. Like Kev said, Holly, there is an awful lot of players going in the summer, and it's starting to get a little bit concerning with the short summer that we've got, that the manager isn't going to even have the players that he wants to build, like you said, that system and that formation, and then build a rapport back with the fans because everyone's on board. It's going to be a hard job.
I couldn't believe the amount of players we let go in January, if I'm honest. We went from having a pretty strong bench, and at times having a stronger bench than we did out on the pitch. But if we let all these players go in the summer, regardless of whether they are going to be Man United players in the future or not, we have to have something to go out on the pitch. We have to have something slightly world-class that can just get us by, maybe even to Europa League spot or something like that. But we won't have that. We won't have the likes of Pogba or Cavani that can pull us out of a dark spot against Southampton or Everton or someone like that. We won't have that. We'll be stuck with the likes of Maguire, Rashford, who we cannot rely on. And when we do rely on, they make us very sorry we ever did. But you need to have a plan in place. It's the problem. So I was just saying, we don't have a plan in place. We don't have someone that's even going to look from the outside in the future. The likes of, if we keep him Rangnick on, he can look from now and think about what we do need for the future. But I can't see Rangnick staying. The disrespect he's got from when he was in. How do you know he might see, but even if he does, I just don't see where it said it's you.
Oh, right in the flow.
Oh, Hall.
Right in the flow.
Come on, Hall.
Oh, we'll get Holly's Wi-Fi hooked up properly for the next time to come over.
Holly's Wi-Fi as inconsistent as United's form.
Harry Maguire internet.
Yeah. Touching on carrying on from where Holly left off there, Kev. Does it concern you now? I mean, actually, the Telegraph, James Ducker was talking there. It's like United staff are struggling to press ahead with summer transfer plans and are concerned about the impact of such delays with so many key decisions on hold while the club wait to appoint the manager. That's coming out. That's reported from the Telegraph. It is key, mate, because there's a lot of planning to do. There's a lot of contracts that need renewing and sorting this summer. Yeah. Nothing's happening, mate. And it's a lot of work to do in one summer and then expect to hit the ground running come August, really.
I spoke to my mate after, obviously, we exited the Champions League the other night, and he was of the opinion now, he just said, what are they waiting for? He said that the managers they actually want have just gone out the Champions League. So whether it is Poch, who I don't want, but obviously Ten Hag has dropped out the Champions League with Ajax as well. He was like, what are United waiting for? Biggest club in the world, just go and get it done now. They've got a couple of months till the end of the season to work with these players, and maybe if the appointment is that good, it might be able to, turn a few heads. Maybe some of the players that are thinking about leaving might get on board. Everybody knows what direction the club's going in. They've then got a summer to, obviously, the players they want to sell, the players they want to bring in. And it's all about getting that time in on the training ground with the manager, because there's no doubt in my mind that a lot of these players are probably in little cliques, probably talking behind Rangnick's back and going, well, he's not going to be here, come the summertime and all that. It is that thing of downing tools. And we've seen it against Manchester City when the heads dropped, when we went 3-1 down. And it's criminal. As fans, when you're watching that, it's very, very hard to take. The bare minimum you want is players running around and looking a bit lively and at least representing the badge that they've got on the chest. So when you find situations like that, you do look at it and you think, these aren't really, they don't seem 100% on board with what Rangnick's come in. And he's had a tough job to do. I'm certainly not calling him out. I think one of the best things he's done in comparison to Solskjaer would have been, to, I don't know, Martial, Tony, do you fancy playing today? No, not today, boss. You wouldn't have heard about that. It would have just been Martial's out, whereas Rangnick, was straight onto us, telling us on screen that Martial didn't want to play, Jesse Lingard needed time, to get his head because he didn't get his move during the window or whatever. He was very honest about that. To me, that's man management, and he's called them 2 players out. He's questioned them. We wouldn't have got that under Solskjaer. And maybe we've needed this little stopgap where a manager comes in and calls out some of the players in the squad. He's not been afraid to drop people either, is he? I know Harry Maguire drives us mad, but he has dropped him. He has dropped Bruno. He has dropped Ronaldo. So he has dropped the big names, which again, Solskjaer would not have done. It was all friends, wasn't it, and all that. But
just before Holly went, I 100% agree with her point. I don't think Rangnick's going to stay. I really don't. I think the fact that he hasn't been able to implement the change that he was hired to implement, why would he stay? He can go back to Germany. He's well respected. He could go to a club that's actually got his shit together and make a difference. I think, the January circus of a transfer window summed up everything that Rangnick needs to know about this club. Players that he wanted to sign, he couldn't sign, even for money that wasn't crazy fees. Players that he wanted to move on, that he openly said he would move on, he wasn't able to move them on. What's the point in him being here?
Do you think he's underestimated it, Jordan? The job in hand?
Yeah.
Do you think it was a dream? He's thought, I cannot turn this down. And again, probably a bit similar to Ronaldo joining United, where he's probably come and been so shocked at the standards and what is going on around the club.
But that isn't a recent thing, Kev. I think from the outside looking in, you look at Manchester United as a brand and how big they are, and you think that they've got the best of the best internally. Louis van Gaal has said it. Mourinho has said it. Ronaldo will now have discovered it. I think as you get into that club and you realize what the hell is going on, you go, this is a circus. And the fact that we're actually doing as well as we are doing is madness. You speak to rival fans and they go on about, oh, what are you moaning about? The Glazers have spent this, you've got that, you've signed this player. Us as fans who watch our team week in, week out, listen to the leaks and see all the nonsense and the hoo-ha that goes on around the club, understand how bad a situation we are in as a club. And until you get in there and you actually get shin deep in what is going on at United, you don't realise how bad it is from the outside.
Yeah, I think you could say knee-deep, Polly. I mean, one man who did call it out, and we were all moaning at the time when Jose was in charge, but someone reminded me of the interview that he said, it's even in his little advert, I think, his second place was the biggest achievement of his career, Holly. He'd won 2 trophies. He then took United to 81 points. Oh, my God, I'd take that right now.
Remember that
FA Cup final, which Phil Jones blew for him, let's be honest. And he said, I think everyone would struggle coming in after me to match what I have achieved. And never a true word said, Holly, like Jordan just said there. Until you get here and bringing in Ralph into this, and like you said a minute ago about him not wanting to stay, the realisation when you do arrive at Manchester United is a big thing, not just for coaches, but for players as well, Holly. And we are seeing major cracks now because of the way this club is run.
Yeah, well, I think Rangnick would have came in and thought that I'm going to turn this group of players around that have been playing bad football for the past 10 years, let's say, since Sir Alex left. And we know Ralph he does play good football. You wouldn't get the likes of Pep, Klopp and others that look up to him in the way that they do. And he might have thought, I'll come into this team, I'm going to make them play good football, I'm going to get them to have good results, and I'm going to go above then, and we're going to start again. But he didn't realise the team of players he was coming into were the most toxic team of players I think I've ever witnessed in football, let alone Man United. These players don't like each other. You can see that they have no chemistry whatsoever. There's 11 individuals all wanting one magic moment out on the pitch. Like, you could have played us, I think, for 16 hours on Tuesday against Atletico, and we wouldn't have scored because nobody's on the same level. Nobody's reading from the same hymn sheet on that team. No, honestly, nobody is. Mourinho, they treated Mourinho badly, and I don't know what kind of manager they need to come in, because they've had the hard type, they've had the soft type with Ollie. They took advantage of Ollie. They've had Rangnick come in and they've completely disrespected him. They had Mourinho and they didn't listen to him. And the club looked past Mourinho and backed the players. And I'm not sure what this group of players needs to do in the eyes of the board and the football club before they realise that there's a lot of the players that are the issue in this team. And it's not exactly who the manager will come in and kick out, but the players are a big, big problem. And I think you can bring in all the managers you want, but some of these players are going to have to get kicked out. Well, not kicked out, but they're going to have to be moved on before we can move on as a football team.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think this football club needs a substitution that you just made with your Wi-Fi, Holly, because all of a sudden it's crisp and crystal clear. It's brilliant. Yeah. We're back. I don't know what you did, whether you went into next door's password or whatever it was, Holly, but keep it up. It's on point now. It's on point.
I had to ditch the Wi-Fi.
I mean, Jordan, I'm just going to change it up a little bit before I finish up the show with some possible transfer targets and how we approach this window. But England squad is out now, Jordan. A few people kicking off that Sancho hasn't made it into the England squad. On that, for you, are you surprised with the way Southgate works? I know you're not bothered about England, mate. It's not really a concern of yours. But in terms of United players, mate, I mean, our players don't need a rest. That's one thing. So we're not worried about players not playing or playing for the international teams. But Sancho, I would say, I thought probably just about deserved to be in there, but shockingly even more, mate. And you probably laugh at this as a Wales fan yourself, mate. Harry Maguire's in for England somehow. I have no idea how he's made it in to that England squad, Jordan. But there's something about that man that just keeps getting him picked. And this is another manager in Southgate. I just don't understand his thinking, mate. If there's one man that did not deserve to get a place in that England team on form, it's our captain, mate. But it just keeps rolling on, mate. Even out of United shirt, he's getting in there, Jordan.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not overly concerned about England. I'm not going to lie. But,
I bet you're happy that Harry Maguire's in the squad.
Yeah, but he saves his best form for England. Our only hope of ever getting 80 million is that England decides to buy him. That's our best hope. So I'm not surprised. And if you hear the passionate way that Southgate spoke about him today, I didn't know who he was describing. Like, I had to check that he was actually on about Harry Maguire. Like, he really, really highly rates him, and as not let him down. He's his go-to centre back. So no, I'm not surprised. On the whole international thing, I just want to say congratulations to Elanga. That it must be an amazing feeling being called up for his country. That is someone who is very well deserved. Sancho, I am surprised, but England, correct me if I'm wrong, do seem overloaded in that position. And I think the way he played against Atletico Madrid wasn't great. So if you watch that game, that's probably the reason why he didn't get called up. But in previous games, I think he has been a little bit of an unsung hero amongst a team full of mediocrity, Sancho, for us. So I am surprised that he hasn't been called up. But if anything, it's a good thing for us because he will get that rest. Not that we need the rest, like you said, but it's not a bad thing. We can actually work on things. Then the other one is Rashford. And I hope that this is a catalyst for Rashford because he is a player that loves playing for his country. He hasn't been called up. And maybe if nobody at Old Trafford is able to shake him and get through to him that he's got to snap out of his poor form, maybe being dropped for his country, and the fact that it's a World Cup year will be enough for him to think, I got to get my head down and start producing some form between now and the end of the season.
That's a fair point, mate. I mean, Kev, Rashford needs that kick up the arse. And on Harry Maguire, are we getting a Harry Maguire A-Cups knee slide this international break for you, Kev?
Who would they play? If they're playing Azerbaijan or whatever it was the last time he scored against them, Jesus Christ. Do you know, I heard Gareth Southgate talking today on the radio about Rashford and why he wasn't included in the squad, which I totally agree with. I mean, ask any Man United fan. I'm sure Gareth Southgate watches Manchester United games because there's enough English players in that team to be looking at and saying, am I going to choose him? So I'm hearing him about Rashford. He said he's not in form in the minute, and that's why he's, obviously they will reassess it and that. So I'm thinking that's a fair point and all that. didn't even realise that Harry Maguire's been, called up to the squad. And then I think, Jesus, man, what are you just watching? The attacking side of the football? Are you not actually watching what's happening at the back? I think it's absolutely crazy that he's been called up. And again, Jadon Sancho doesn't get included. I don't know. Well, at least there's no way they're going to get injured, or Sancho's going to get injured anyway. I think it's going to be a big run-in at the end of the season. We need to get points on the board. Arsenal have got the games in hand, and we're going to need a player like Sancho is in form. Wasn't one of his greatest games the other night, but prior to that, he's starting to show us the form that he... Well, the reason we actually bought him in the first place, which I'm excited about. So onwards and upwards.
Yeah, on that, Holly. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Adam. If you are going to base it on form, though, which I get to a certain aspect, why are we basing it on Sancho's in worse form than Jack Grealish? I mean, as an England fan, I'm happy with what Jack Grealish is capable of, and I know he could be brilliant in an England shirt. But if we are, as Gareth Southgate says, basing it on form, Jadon Sancho should be in that team ahead of Grealish and the likes of Phil Foden. And even if you want to say Raheem Sterling, if we are basing it on form, I mean. But obviously, as an England fan and seeing the Euros last year, you probably would go towards more them players because they were more influential. But then don't say you're going to base it on form.
It should be on current form. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, Southgate. We know Southgate as England fans picks his favourites. I mean, he was proved right with Sterling in the tournament that he had in the summer, because I would have put Sterling in ahead of who was on the bench, but he's the one who scored the big goals at the right moments. But on that again, Holly, it's like what Kev and Jordan both said. There's two sides to it there. Like Jordan said there, as a United fan, you're looking at it going, actually, it's a fair point that Rashford now it'll be a big slap in the face for him. But on the other hand, Harry Maguire is just walking into that England squad thinking that he's actually playing all right. I'm like, and it just throws the argument up in the air. I'm like, he actually probably thinks that he's done enough to be in this squad. I really do hope that, and I do believe this better centre-backs. I mean, I'd have Stones and Ben White ahead of Harry Maguire all day long as an England fan. That would be my partnership straight away. And it pains me to say it, but the amount of United players, first of all, Holly, that aren't getting their England call-ups is a sign of what is actually going on right now. Because back in the day, you could guarantee 5, 6, 7 United call-ups every single time. But the fact that it's getting less and less tells you exactly where this club is, Holly. I mean, on that, though, do you think it would do Rashford good, like Jordan said there, first of all? Because it's one man in an area of the pitch we need form players for. And if he doesn't hit it off soon, Holly, that contract extension might not happen next year.
Well, the biggest problem with United is we offer contracts out willy-nilly, and I think we should really look at the player and what they bring to the team from now on. Like the likes of Rashford, we've gone this long now. How long has he been out of form since the beginning of the season? We've gone this long now without Rashford. Why don't we just let him go? Like for the amount of time that we're just going to keep like saying, oh, hopefully he'll come into form. Hopefully this will kickstart his form. We've been without him for this long. We should make plans to get someone else in. Like, yeah, how long do we give them before we start writing them off?
Exactly that. I mean, I think back in the day, Jordan, mate, we used to say, 2 or 3 years, if they've not really hit it off, then Sir Alex was sort of weaning them out. He was fading them out. Right now, it's like, we looked how me and Kev discussed it yesterday on the show, the fact that Rashford's on pretty much, Rashford and Martial are on twice as much as most salaries. And Liverpool are playing hardball with a Ballon d'Or nominee who is one of the best strikers in world football. United are just like, there you go. That's all right. Let's keep him. Let's keep a squad number covered. Make sure we put that shirt number in the shop so we can sell it. It's night and day, mate, in terms of standards and how clubs have run. But when do we actually say, look, it's just not good enough?
Yeah, I think, again, this is another one of those things that falls on the new manager's shoulders, him coming in and assessing the squad. I think Rangnick will have his own ideas. And if Rangnick sticks around, he'll pass them on But ultimately, the new manager has to make a decision. I think it's not next season. We've got an extra year as well, haven't we, that we can activate?
It's that silly United added that extra option in it.
Yeah. So it's not something that's imminent. I think the interesting one is what's going to happen with Martial, because he's gone out on loan.
He said he wants to stay. He said he don't want to come back.
Yeah.
He wants to stay at Seville.
You don't want to come back to United. He's already come out and said it.
Right. There we go then. I think the new manager that comes in has got to, pick his battles, hasn't he? He can't fix everything in one summer. So yeah, I don't think the Rashford decision is something that needs to be made now. I do feel that the right manager will get something out of Rashford, whereas I always felt like with Martial, he's probably at a point where he's checked out. You can see it with certain players that we've come to an end of a road with those, and they need to move on, and new blood needs to be brought in. But I do feel like Rashford loves the club and wants to play for it. What just one point on Rashford, that whole thing yesterday with him confronting the fan, and again him putting a statement out, PR statement saying that he's been abused and whatnot. Once again, last week when it was brought out that he wanted to leave if he wasn't getting game time, he didn't come out with a statement to deny that. So that again just reiterates the fact that was something else that he has put out there himself. So again, the PR machine was in overdrive.
Yeah, I mean, Kev, quickly on Rashford there, I mean, Jordan made the point there that we've got time and don't need to rush it. But then again, I look at Pogba and Lingard right now, and can we afford to be going down that road? Say Rashford hits form all of a sudden, like Jordan said, I do believe there's still a player in there. We have seen it, and he's not signed this deal already. Is there a chance that we could wait too long again and have a Pogba and Jesse Lingard situation? Because I don't think anyone in Man United really wants to give Rashford any more money than what he's on right now. No. But there's a chance, like Jordan said, that he could come back into form, and ultimately we could have this same sort of scenario again, a player that we are letting go for nothing who's come through the academy.
If he does hit form, then that's great for Manchester United. And you should only be rewarded financially with a contract if you are performing. It should be performance related. That's how you should earn your new contract. And that has been one of the major problems at Manchester United. And for a fact that Manchester United will be looking at it a year down the line or whatever. Let's say a year down the line, even if Rashford's not performing, they'll take into consideration his age, market value, what we could get if we were to sell him. And they will offer him a contract. And it will be ridiculous. Like you say, it would be more than some of the top players in the Premier League are earning, who are performing on a weekly basis and actually doing it. And that's the stupid thing about the structure and how Manchester United's been run. Some of the contracts that have been handed out have just been, it's mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. But all it's doing is securing an asset, and that's how they look at it in a business term, because it's how much could we get for this player if we were to sell them, which makes the Jesse Lingard, the decision to keep him, all that more mind-boggling. We did the transfer deadline day thing, didn't we? Where the likes of Newcastle, West Ham were coming in, and we're kind of watching it and thinking, well, here we go. At last, he's going to get his move. The club are going to get a bit of money for him. And lo and behold, they keep him on. They give him a few days off then to let him clear his head because he ain't got his move. And you're like, geez, what is going on at this football club, man? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. But there's no doubt to me that they'll look at Rashford, even if he's kicking around the England team, they'll take into consideration his age. And again, it'll be that thing of what he's worth to United if somebody was to buy him.
That's it. Oh. It's like back, gone, in, out, shaking it
Come
off.
on,
right?
Come on,
That's it. She's finishing the show with a bang there. Guys, that pretty much does finish us and wind us up in the show. Cheers for everyone in the comments, all the super chats. Everyone's been on point tonight. It's been a very interesting show, and lots of good points made from the comments as well as the panel. On the panel, Kev, as always, mate, cheers for coming on and making some good points yourself, mate.
Always a pleasure, mate. Never a chore. Thank you very much. And fair play, Holly, as well, making the old day.
That is a cracking Kev line, that. Yeah. Jordan, loving that top, mate, and that background there is banging, mate. Thanks for coming on, pal.
Always a pleasure. You know I love the Thursday night show, mate.
You do. You do. And guys, thanks for all the support for Holly. But Holly, her debut, we diced with the internet for a while there, but we got it sussed in the end. Thanks for coming on, Holly.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the chat as well.
Good job. All our socials are there. That is my Instagram there, Kev's Instagram and Twitter. Is it, Kev?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one, mate.
Jordan, is that your Twitter there? And
that's my Twitter. Add UK on the end for Insta.
Yep. And there is Holly's as well, guys. So do give everyone a follow on there. And thanks everyone for joining us tonight. It's been interesting. No football to talk about again all weekend. So I don't know what we're going to be doing. We're probably going to have a bit of fun with it. But yeah, it is what it is, guys. That is United's season as it is right now. Hopefully we've all calmed down by the time we actually play again, which is next month, by the way. Leicester at home. God, it seems like miles away, doesn't it? It's crazy. But cheers for coming on, everyone.
We need a rest.
Yeah.
Yes. Do hit the like button on your way out, everybody. Subscribe to United Stand, bottom right-hand corner of your screen there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good weekend if we don't see you before then. But for now,